This is our Group 4 presentation on nicotine. This presentation will explore whether nicotine is harmless and holds healthful properties for the body, or if it's actually unhealthy and ultimately dangerous for the body. The pseudoscientific claim we will explore states that nicotine is harmless and in fact beneficial to human life.
My name is Alex, and I will be analyzing the addiction of nicotine and how that plays effect in the body through a biology lens.
My name is Michael, and I will be assessing the effects of nicotine mainly through my knowledge of chemistry, but also through a physics perspective. Olvin was unable to record with us, but his sports science background contributed to the information in this slideshow.
The video that we are analyzing claims that nicotine use by itself, without the health impacts of smoking or chewing, is actually beneficial to the body. The video states that nicotine users are much less likely to develop Parkinson's and mentions that nicotine improves cognitive ability, especially in those with ADHD. However, the video does not hold regards for any specific form of consumption, therefore making their claims useless. For example, smoking causes tar to enter the lungs, and nicotine gum causes stomach ulcers. Regardless, nicotine on its own is still a poison and can be lethal at certain doses. In addition, the video had a severe bias towards nicotine use, as the creator was Vepo Vape Shop, a business that sells vaporizing devices and products that contain nicotine.
Nicotine was discovered and first consumed through smoking tobacco. As time progressed, new methods of consumption were found, such as vaporizing devices, gum, skin patches, and chewing tobacco. Smoking tobacco used to be encouraged and was marketed as a healthful and stylish drug. However, this was with limited research. As more research was done, scientists found that smoking cigarettes was deadly. Today, 1 in 5 deaths are tobacco related. This is similar to the issue with vaporizing devices seen today, which are growing in popularity. Extensive research is yet to be done on these devices, and there could be severe health impacts from vaping that are yet to be discovered.
C4H10N2 is the chemical formula for nicotine. It enters the brain in a variety of ways, with the most common being through the inhalation of smoke from a cigarette or vapor from a vaporizer. Once nicotine enters the bloodstream, it travels directly to the brain. Nicotine activates several brain mechanisms by attaching to receptors on nerve cells, which transmit a chemical message much like how a neurotransmitter does. The drug causes a release of dopamine in the region of the brain that controls pleasure and motivation, which often leads to addiction. Although nicotine can be administered in different forms, all of the forms have the same effect on the brain. It makes the user crave nicotine as it produces powerful withdrawals if one tries to quit.
Nicotine causes the blood vessels to constrict. As the blood vessels narrow, blood pressure rises, also known as hypertension. Undetected and uncontrolled hypertension leads to heart disease. The estimated half-life of nicotine is approximately 2 hours, which means that nicotine remains in the bloodstream for that length of time. But since a smoker receives multiple doses of nicotine, the drug stays in the circulatory system for much longer. The American Heart Association warns that significant levels of nicotine potentially remain in the smoker's blood for 6 to 8 hours after the last cigarette. Hypertension is a risk factor for suffering a heart attack, stroke, or premature death. Kidney and heart failure result from uncontrolled hypertension. The American Heart Association lists narrowing of the arteries as another short-term effect of nicotine on the cardiovascular system. Arteries are the blood vessels that carry oxygen-rich blood from the heart to all parts of the body. Constriction of the arteries deprives major organs and limbs of oxygen. Nicotine users have a higher risk of developing peripheral artery disease, or PAD, which is characterized by blockage of the arteries that supply the kidneys, stomach, arms, legs, and feet.
To sum it all up, the video we were disproving claimed that nicotine by itself wasn't as harmful as previously thought, and even offered some benefits. However, through our own research, we learned that all the methods of administration have their own negative health impacts. For example, smoking leads to lung cancer, gum can cause stomach ulcers, and chewing tobacco leads to gum cancer. In addition, nicotine reacts in the brain much like a neurotransmitter and produces a release of dopamine, and after chronic use, the user can suffer from powerful withdrawals. Finally, even if the nicotine could be administered through a completely safe method, The nicotine is highly poisonous and constricts blood vessels while increasing blood pressure, which can lead to heart attacks, strokes, and kidney damage. And here's our list of sources.